Thank you so much for your time. My name is Caroline Kamau. Today we continue with the conversation of mental wellness, and we will delve into relationships. With us again is John Odegi. John Odegi is a counseling psychologist, and he'll help us with this conversation. At a time when COVID-19 pandemic has struck the entire world, relationships are strained. Let's just talk about couples and marriages and how best we can be able to navigate at this very, very difficult time for most Kenyans. Let's take a look at communication and just how important it is for couples now to communicate, have proper communication at this particular time.
At times, what's really coming out strongly, especially now when we are in our homes, I think it would be so challenging to communicate if we had other previous issues which are still pending to be sorted. But either way, I don't think it's what you say, it's how you say it that really matters. Because you find that in most communications, in partners, you find that they might want something, or they might want you to do something, but the question is they lose it in how they say it. So I think it's important for us to relook at how we say things. So we need to listen more, and we need to also to look at the how of the things that we say to our partners. Yeah.
Another big one, of course, now we've had layoffs in certain organizations, pay cuts are coming, and nobody knows what will happen in the future. Finances in relationships, and I know there are arrangements in marriages where some men take on the bigger role, the bigger financial role. But now here comes a situation where maybe a man has been laid off. Just how best do couples deal with finances in relationships?
The partner who has probably lots of finances, or who finances are probably so many things in the relationship, has a lot of say or power in the relationship. But the question is, the moment probably the man loses his finances, probably even having a say in the relationship also comes down, because you find that now that focus, the power shifts towards the woman. So the question is, what is this man busy saying in his mind? So we need to sit down and just negotiate on how we can support each other in an empathetic manner. So it's not a time whereby now probably the other partner will take advantage of, like, hey, you know what, I have a bigger say now because I'll be taking care of most of the finances in the relationship. I think it's a time for us to sit down and just negotiate on how we can balance things in the relationship when it comes to finances. And also, let's not also leave our kids behind. Kids also have a say. Let's also explain to them in ways that they can understand that, you know what, right now we have limited finances, and we have to do away with some other aspects of probably some other aspects of probably on things, some other
luxuries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we need also to make our kids understand that we might do away with some luxuries right now. So we need also to bring everyone on board in this communication.
Yeah. You brought about kids and how important it is also to involve our kids in the decisions that are made moving forward.
Yes.
But normally it's mothers, it's women who are left to take care of the kids. Here comes a situation where now the father also has to spend a lot of time at home. What happens now?
It's very important for everyone to come on board and to support each other. I don't think kids only belong to mothers. Kids also belong to fathers. And that also brings to question our role modeling to our kids. If we find out that probably fathers cannot help in the house, probably they just put their legs on the coffee table and probably the newspaper, or maybe with the remote control, what are we communicating to the boy child? And question is, what are we also communicating to the girl child? If the girl child is raised up by a father who did not probably take a role in their lives, so basically that is also going to create a very big impression in their lives. in also how they relate to men in future. So we really need to be keen on how we play our roles.
We live in an African setting where more often than not we take care of our extended families.
Exactly.
Some people are living with their sisters-in-laws and brothers-in-laws, or you're taking care of your parents back at home. These are strange times, financially especially. How do we ensure that the family stays together, extended family stays together, but also understanding that we are dealing with new realities?
Expectations. We're talking about expectations from relatives. Those expectations might not change also given the changing circumstances, but we need to start managing the expectations of us as probably as parents. So parents, or probably even probably people who are in marriages or relationships, need to start managing the expectations, probably even financial expectations from relatives. We need to communicate that reality in a respectful manner, because the moment we don't manage those expectations, then I think it might create some bad blood in our relatives who might think that, hey, you know what, things are still the same. So we need to start managing the expectations of relatives, financial expectations, which relatives have placed on us. Yes.
John Odegi, thank you so much for your insights as always.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, John Odegi there talking to us about what we need to do if you're a married couple at home. Communication is key, he said. Communication to our children, communication to the extended family as we navigate through this very serious pandemic. My name is Caroline Kamau. I hope you learned a thing or two about how to navigate through your relationships and to ensure that we have a healthy relationships even after COVID-19. My name is Caroline Kamau. Back to you in studio.